You spent nearly a third of your life unconscious. Every night, you climb into bed, close your eyes, and disappear for hours at a time. You lose awareness of the room around you. Your muscles shut down. Your body becomes vulnerable, helpless, motionless. And you do this willingly. But for almost every other animal on Earth, that would be suicidal. A deer sleeping too deeply gets eaten. A monkey that loses awareness for too long falls from the tree. In the wild, unconsciousness is dangerous. Which raises a strange question. Why do humans sleep so much? Most people think the answer is obvious. Your body gets tired, your brain needs rest. Sleep is just the body's way of recharging itself. But that explanation has always been incomplete. Because if sleep were only about energy, evolution should have found a safer solution by now. A creature that spends 8 hours unconscious every day is at an enormous disadvantage. Over the course of a lifetime, the average human spends nearly 26 years asleep. That's not a small biological feature. That's a massive sacrifice. And the real reason your brain forces you to sleep may be far stranger than you think. In 1953, two researchers at the University of Chicago made a discovery that changed neuroscience forever. Nathaniel Kleitman and Eugene Aserinsky were studying sleeping infants when they noticed something bizarre. Even while deeply asleep, the baby's eyes suddenly began darting rapidly beneath their eyelids. At the same time, their brain activity exploded. Their brains didn't look unconscious. They looked awake. This became the first documented evidence of REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep, the phase where most vivid dreams occur. And what they discovered next was even stranger. During REM sleep, your body is effectively paralyzed. Your brain intentionally shuts down most muscle activity so you don't physically act out your dreams. Your heart rate changes. Your breathing becomes irregular. Brain activity surges almost to waking levels. In some ways, your sleeping brain becomes more active than your waking one, which immediately created a problem. If sleep is supposed to be rest, then why is the brain suddenly burning enormous amounts of energy while you're unconscious? Something else was happening. Then, in the 1980s, neuroscientist Giulio Tononi began developing a theory that sounded almost disturbing. What if sleep isn't mainly for resting the brain? What if it's for erasing parts of it? Here's what he meant. Every moment you're awake, your brain is constantly strengthening connections between neurons. Every conversation, every face, every sound, every notification on your phone, tiny pathways in your brain become slightly stronger. But if that process continued endlessly, your brain would eventually become overloaded, like a hard drive filling with noise. So, according to Tononi's synaptic homeostasis hypothesis, sleep acts like a nightly reset. While you sleep, the brain weakens and trims unnecessary neural connections. Important pathways survive. Weak ones disappear. Your brain is literally deciding what deserves to exist and what deserves to be forgotten. Experiments began supporting this idea almost immediately. In 2003, researchers at the University of Wisconsin found that animals deprived of sleep struggled to consolidate memories properly. The information entered the brain, but the organization process failed. Then there were the scans. Using modern imaging technology, scientists discovered that during deep sleep, cerebrospinal fluid begins flowing through the brain in rhythmic waves, washing away metabolic waste products that build up during waking hours, including proteins associated with Alzheimer's disease. Your sleeping brain isn't shutting down. It's cleaning itself, repairing itself, editing itself. And here's where things become deeply uncomfortable. Because the brain activity happening while you sleep may shape your personality more than the hours you spend awake. Researchers at Harvard Medical School found that emotional experiences replay during sleep in altered forms. Your brain reprocesses embarrassment, fear, grief, attraction, humiliation. Not passively, but actively. Sleep changes how you feel about your own life. The version of you that wakes up tomorrow morning is not psychologically identical to the version that went to sleep tonight. Your brain has already modified the emotional weight of your memories while you were unconscious, which means something strange is true. You are being psychologically rewritten every single night. But here's the part most people never think about. For most of human history, people didn't sleep the way you do now. In the early 2000s, historian Roger E. Kirch from Virginia Tech uncovered over 500 historical references to something called segmented sleep. For centuries, Humans commonly slept in two separate phases. People would fall asleep shortly after sunset, wake up around midnight for 1 or 2 hours, then return to sleep again until dawn. This middle waking period appeared everywhere: medieval court records, medical texts, personal diaries, literature. People prayed, talked, had sex, reflected by candlelight. Then they went back to sleep. In other words, waking up at 2 a.m. may not actually be a malfunction. It may be ancient behavior your body still remembers. And this makes modern sleep feel much stranger. Because today, millions of people panic when they wake up during the night. They assume something is wrong with them: insomnia, anxiety, dysfunction. But for most of human history, uninterrupted 8-hour sleep wasn't normal at all. Artificial lighting changed that. Factories changed that. Work schedules changed that. Your body didn't evolve around modern clocks. Modern clocks forced your body to adapt. And the consequences are everywhere. In 2022, the CDC estimated that over 1/3 of American adults are chronically sleep deprived. Rates of anxiety, depression, obesity, and cardiovascular disease rise sharply when sleep patterns become disrupted. Your nervous system is ancient. Your environment isn't. And every night, those two realities collide inside your skull, which leads to an unsettling thought. If consciousness is the thing you experience as yourself, then sleep temporarily destroys it every single day. Every night, your awareness disappears. Your sense of time vanishes. Your identity dissolves into dreams, fragments, unconscious processes, electrical storms firing across billions of neurons. Then, hours later, consciousness returns, and you simply assume the person who woke up is the same person who went to sleep. But how would you ever prove that? The version of you that existed yesterday is already gone. Its emotions have shifted. Its neural connections have changed. Its memories have been edited. Your brain survived. But the exact mind you had before sleep didn't. Something slightly different woke up in its place. And maybe that's the real reason humans sleep. Not because the brain shuts down, but because the brain is constantly rebuilding itself. You close your eyes every night believing you'll wake up as the same person. But your brain has been changing in the dark the entire time, quietly deciding what stays, quietly deciding what disappears. And by morning, another version of you steps back into the world, carrying only the pieces your brain decided were worth keeping.